Evening, everyone. Straighten that up. I'm Yasamika Kumbala here, and I'm here to talk about the Heart Earth Embrace meditation. I'm going to give you a bit of background on this first, so you know where it came from. For me, it gives it credibility. I used to be a critical mentor for youth, young lads, and I used to deal with some pretty tricky boys from time to time. And they used to get themselves in some hell of a situations. And one day I struck this lad out in the bush, and he was really having a meltdown. And I got my insight, and the way I get my insight, I call them whispers, and I got a whisper: put them in your heart. Well, this was no time to actually start wondering how the heck that worked, because I had a lad who was having a meltdown just a couple of meters away, and I had to put him in my heart. So what I did was I got a picture of the lad who was pretty well in front of me, and I put him, a hologram, a picture, an image, however you perceive it, I put him in my heart. And I was not angry with him. I knew I had to be level-headed and be balanced going into the situation. And when you're balanced mentally and emotionally, you're able to do this heart earth embrace meditation or process. So what I did was I put a picture of him, and I imagined I had a void in my heart space. I had no time to think about if it was warm or nice or cuddly or full of love and pink and all that. I had no time for that. All I did was I put a picture of him inside my heart space. And I felt for him through my heart, not through my stomach. I felt for him through my heart. And I watched him transform in front of my eyes. From a raging young lad with a lot of anger, he went through sadness, and then he really just wanted a bit of time to have a chat. And that was the first time that I came across this process. Well, the process went well, and over the next coming months, if I ever had a tricky situation, I put the person inside my heart. I never spent much time on it, as in, as I said, making it nice and fluffy or warm or candy floss or rainbows or anything like that. I just put them in my heart and just said, "You're okay, mate. You're okay." And it helped me out no end. And after that, I did do a few modifications. I actually put a flame in my heart and then put the person inside the flame. So I kind of had a double layer. And after that, I had a few people ask me about people who have passed away. How are they going? How are they doing? Sometimes they get stuck in between worlds, between where they're meant to be going, and because of their emotional attachment, things weigh them down, and they get stuck in between the octaves of the fourth dimension. So what I did then was, someone would ask me a question, I would just open up a flame in my heart and go inside my heart and ask. And I'd get my whispers or get my intuition through here, not through my third eye. Third eye normally means it's got karma written all over it. So I just put it in here, and I talk to the person in here. So that's how it came to pass. And from then on, I actually do most of my work through here. My insights, my formulas, how things work, it comes from this space in the heart. I know that you can see meditations and you talk about the heart thing and do the heart. Well, it's probably very similar to that. Everything I do with my heart, as in my heart space, it's open-eyed. I never actually, well, I very seldom meditate and concentrate on that part of my being. I have other ways of meditating, so it's a handy thing to know. The other day we were doing, and that was a few years ago. That might have been 3 or 4 years ago, and I'd forgotten all about it. So Rainey and I were going for our stroll round Mamaku, and we came across this horse. And I've had a bit to do with horses over the years. So I went down to say good day. Well, this horse never wanted to have a bar of me. I even have a piece of apple. Sniffed the apple, walked away. And I said, oh, okay. And it showed its backside to me. And that's normally a sure sign what the horse is thinking about. And anyway, the person over the road said, oh, no good talking to that horse. It only likes young girls. So I thought, fair enough. Well, that means that the horse has got male karma. A male has probably abused it or threatened it in the past, or a boy or something. And hey, this horse isn't silly, so it prefers a feminine or a female to actually be mates with. So we came back, and I think it was the next day. I might have had 2 goes at it, and it actually rejected me. So perhaps the third time, I'm not good with numbers, so I think it was about the third time, I said to Rain, I remembered this. Well, I got the insight. I received the whisper of pop the horse in your heart. And for a start, I thought, what the hell would I want to do that for? But, well, anyway, then I quickly remembered what I used to do 3 or 4 years ago. And I told Rainey, I'm going to pop this blinking horse in my heart and we'll see what happens. So probably a couple of 100 meters before we got to the paddock, I could see the horse. And all I did was put that picture of that horse in my heart. Well, I went up to the fence. I had no apples, I had no grass or anything to encourage it to come to me. It looked at me, its ears, if you've had anything to do with horses, the ears went straight up. Oh, this is looking good. Anyway, it trotted straight over to me, and I gave it a good scratch and give it a pat and had a chat. And Arania said, wow, that's a bit different. And I said, yeah, I did the heart thing. And I used to call it the heart thing because that's all I ever knew. And I never actually told many people about this heart thing. And of course, with this lockdown in the earth, supposedly being in distress or not in a good way, I got the whisper, pop the earth in your heart. Exactly the same as the horse. Well, and I was talking to Arania about it. And see, this kind of thing I do open-eyed and walking and conscious. I never try to do this. I go, I have to lock myself away, sit cross-legged, put on some incense or whatever you do in front of the shrine and meditate. I do this consciously, and I put the earth in my heart, which I'd never thought about before. And I talked to Arania about it, and we got a lot of replies on Facebook because of the live. And she said, I think you really might have hit on something here. And I thought, goodness, it's a technique that I'd forgotten about. So this evening, I'm going to show you how I do it, which is pretty well what I've just done. But there are different ways of doing it. Like, you can have a look at this. This is the dolls that I always use. I'm sure you all know Yelena. Excuse me, Yelena. I'll just explain to you one other thing. Spirit, ghost, fourth dimension. Emotional body, feminine. mental body, masculine. Now, seeing these split, for a start, we start off in the heart. And we have our soul or Holy Spirit in our heart, which is the same as having our flame in our heart. It's the same thing. Now, what happens is that this then gets sleeved by the subconscious mind. Here and up here, exactly the same. It sleeves the Holy Spirit or the soul. Now, this splits in two, and you end up with a blue mental mind and a red emotional mind. Now, when you are in your blue, where's your eyeballs? When you're in your blue, subconscious blue mental mind, you're in your head. So you're primarily thinking, and you base your whole reality on thinking. Practical, functional, love structure, and likes to dominate. Okay, and it's in your head, so therefore it looks down on people. So whenever a blue person starts going blue, quite often the other people perceive that they are underlings or they are the blue superior. So the people who are subservient to the blues in your head. Now, the red one is emotional based. Now, we're programmed and conditioned to have our emotions down here in our belly. So we have the blue one up here and we have the red one down here. And this is the one where people think, I got a gut feeling on this. That's why, because they're actually having a red intuitive feeling on this, and it's in down here in the belly, and this one's in the head. Now, when you go into your heart, you have to have these balanced. No way can you think and be logical and practical and expect you can put anything into your heart, because it will block you, because you're going to be in your head. So you have to bring yourself down and balance yourself to put yourself in your heart. And the same goes with the red. If you have an emotional attachment to a person, you may have anger, you may have sadness, you may have self-pity, you may have sympathy. This is down here in the puku, in the belly, and this will actually block you from going in here. So when you put someone into your heart, you have to make sure that you are firstly balanced. If you're upset, angry, brassed off, you're doing something wrong, judgmental, blue people are always, an extreme case of blue is judgment. You're going to have to balance yourself out, and one way of doing that, you may have your own way of balancing yourself out, but one way which is handy, and it's a vision thing. Imagine yourself looking over the sea at either a sunrise or a sunset. You have to have the sun on the flat horizon. And what that does, it puts this, which is the sun, on a balanced horizon. It's the same with meditation. If you ever do a meditation and you're sitting there wondering what the heck you're going to do, this is without guidance. This is just doing a good cold turkey meditation by yourself silently. You sit there and you imagine you are looking at a sunrise or a sunset, probably preferably a sunrise. And that line is here, and that the sun is right here. And if you want to, you can put the line here and put the sun here, and that will automatically help balance you. So first of all, you get yourself balanced, just calm yourself down, take a couple of breaths, and if you want to, you can imagine a flame in your heart. This is talking to a person or a plant or an animal. We haven't got to the earth thing yet. So what you do is you imagine you got a heart, a flame inside your heart, and you put the person or the animal or the plant or whoever it is, probably pets, probably get in here a lot quicker than human beings. Things that you naturally love, rather than putting them in your head or putting them in your stomach, you actually put them in your heart. Put them in your heart space. Just embrace them in there. Have a chat. These are with third dimensional beings. These are with your partner, your husband, your wife, your kids, your grandchildren, someone at work, whoever it is. You pop them in your heart. Have a chat. Just a quiet chat. It's unnecessary to get all lovey, and it's unnecessary to get all practical. It's just, how you going? And have a chat. Okay? That's with the humans. If you're a plant person, like myself, you probably automatically put these in your heart in the first place. And if you've got a fly hanging around on your bald head, you put the fly in your heart. Do I have emotional attachment to a fly landing on my bald head? Oh my God, I could do. I'll just have a drink. Righto. So, living humans, living plants, living animals, pop them in here. Now, if you ever want to have a discussion or contact any deceased beings, this is where you put them. Okay? Just have a quiet chat, however you want to do it. And please remember, these beings are in another dimension. Have a chat to them and let them go back. They have got their journey. They have to carry on with their life and their evolvement just as much as you. So have a chat to them. Tell them what you want to say through your heart. And then at the end of the chat, let them go. If you hang on to them, it's going to create transgression on your side and their side. You'll have your 5 minutes or whatever it is, have a good chat in here, then let them go. Okay? Yeah. Heart, earth, embrace. So that one's probably more of a heart embrace. Now, I always get my transmissions or insights. And of course, my soul knew that I was going to be doing this sooner or later, as in the next couple of days. So, I always get encouraged to put what I want to put in front of me, inside my heart. Put something in front of me, so my mind understands what's going on. So, I'll start with. I don't know if you're able to see that. Might go better on there. If I was ever going to put New Zealand on my heart, I would use this. This has emotional attachment. This was made for me for a dear friend of mine who's since passed. But I would actually put that there. Yeah, that's good. And that works already. Like, you can feel it. It opens up. It's lovely. And that's for New Zealand. You can get a picture of New Zealand. You could use a picture out of your imagination, out of a book, off the net. And you just imagine that in there. And I'll tell you what, while it's in there, you can have a chat. You can communicate. Because this is our future. We are going to be communicating through here. We are used to communicating through here and communicating through here. But as we evolve as a human being, as in a God animal being, we're going to do more and more communicating through this. And this is a prelude to it. Now, I do not actually have a globe of the earth. It's in storage at the moment. So I was looking around to think what I could use instead of the globe of the earth. So I actually perceive the earth as a dodecahedron. How's that look? Does that work all right for you? So I could actually put that in my heart quite easily and understand what that is, because that's a geometric Earth. And it does have a sun on the inside of it. It's not a third dimensional sun, it's actually an interdimensional sun. There's an Earth, there's a flame inside the Earth, the same as the flame outside. And I could quite easily put that inside my heart, and that would work for me really good. Just because I've got a geometric mind. Now, I saw that. Now, I could understand that being my Earth too, because I'm a water element, and that's a kinna or a sea urchin for the ones who live out of New Zealand. I can imagine that being in my heart. And if I could imagine the blueprint of the Earth in there and put that in my heart, I could do that too. Now, when you do this Earth meditation, I'm going to use the gold one. We have two main wires that connect us. We have our chakras that go out the front and out the back. But our two main wires comes through your crown chakra, which is your cosmic connection, and the one that comes up through your base chakra, which is your planetary connection. So when you connect to Mother Earth, what will help you is that, first of all, you do the grounding. Open up your base chakra, however you feel that's done, and you imagine a rod of light going through you down into the center of the Earth. And it connects to the sun in the center of the Earth. When that feels good for you, open up your crown chakra. And that rod of light, which is known as your subsonic core, which is in your soul, goes through you, out the top of your crown chakra and into the universe. Whatever works for you with the universe, sometimes you may want just to go to the universe. You could actually ask it to go to the central sun. You could ask it to go to the solar sun and then to the central sun. That's where our soul was made. So what you're doing, you're connecting within your mind, through your heart, the center of the Earth in a planetary consciousness, and then you're going to go up through your head. You can go through our solar sun. You know what that looks like. You just ask, please, soul, put it through the solar sun. And then from that sun, I want to go to the central sun. So you connect yourself up with your planetary self. Your planetary self is the magenta one, and your cosmic self is your cobalt blue one. And you put that in here. You can put the blue one over the top and the magenta one underneath. However it works for you. It's most important. I'll give you the template. You do with it whatever suits you. And you sit there. You can do this walking around. It's unnecessary to close your eyes and imagine it. I've got a very good imagination, so I can actually do this walking around. Walking up and down the street, going for a walk in Mamaki with Arania. So what you do, you sit down. If you're sitting down, you look at the sunrise on the horizon, and you probably have to tilt your head back a wee way, and you'll imagine you have a sun in front of you on the horizon. And that actually connects it aligns your head and your spine. because you have to theoretically be straight when you meditate, because you're connecting to the center of the earth. If you're a lie down meditator, it will work, but really sitting up is much better. If that hurts or whatever, you do what's best for you. Okay, so you sit there and you see the horizon. It's a beautiful sunrise coming up over the sea. It's going to be a lovely blue day, and you've got a golden orb coming in through your third eye. You go, wow, that's very nice. Have a bit of a chat if you want, or however it works for you. And then you go, righto, I better connect up with the centre of Mother Earth, what we know in New Zealand as Papatūānuku, and you send down from your flame in your heart, down through your being, down through your base chakra, down to the centre of the earth, and connect to the flame in the centre of the earth. When that feels like that's pretty good, you can then imagine that you've got your rod, your subsonic core is going up through your crown chakra, up into the universe. Sometimes it'll hit a grid, it'll go to a grid, because there's a grid around the earth. Sometimes it'll go straight to the sun. And then from the sun it'll go to the central sun. And the central sun is in the Pleiades, which is also known to the New Zealand people as the Matariki. It is Alcyone. You can Google it, central sun. I think it's Acyone, Alcyone. And you connect yourself up and you put your blessed planet inside your heart. And while it's in there, you just allow it to be. It's unnecessary to push the love thing. It's unnecessary to push the power thing. The state of your heart is be. And you let it may rotate. It can be still. I think rotate feels pretty good. It can spin on its axes. And while it's nicely there, have a chat. Communicate with it. If you're uninterested in communicating with your planet, just stay there and be with your planet. Be in balance with your planet. When you are in balance, a line will cut or come across you. It will actually be a disc. And that's the cross. You're starting to create the cross for yourself inside your heart. Okay, so you have a line up and down, and as you balance out, you're going to see a line of light go across that way. And again, you just be. Refrain from thinking. Refrain from feeling. Let that all go. And just allow that earth to rotate in your heart. It's unnecessary to disconnect from this being. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Heart, earth, embrace. That embrace word is perfect. Just embrace it. Imagine you're holding it, like cupping it in your hands, and it's in your heart. You put a flame around it if you're comfortable with that. If you have trouble getting a picture of that, do a sketch of it on a piece of paper to help your mind connect to what you want to do from the third dimension and through the fourth into the fifth dimensional. This is the fifth dimensional template. It's great. May I remind you, you can do this anytime you want. It's good to learn and to teach yourself to do this consciously. While you're driving the car, while you're walking around. Practice. Never put yourself in a dangerous situation, but walking might be the best way to start. If you're a sit down and meditate kind of person, do it. Sit out the backyard. Sit on the back step. We are gods and goddesses. We have to learn all this. We have to learn how to use our remote to get these things working. And this is a natural thing for us. It's just natural. All we have to do is practice it. I walk past those horses, Iranian, and I walk past those horses, and they never forget us. It'll be the same. We're going to start perceiving our life from inside our heart out. We've got to learn to practice to do these things. Always remember, stay in the state of be when this is in progress. And I'll give you a hint. We have two smiles. We have an external smile and we have an internal smile. One day you may find yourself, your face may be going a little bit different than normal. Go, wow, what's happening here? It'll be your internal smile coming through. That's good. Okay. So that's how you do a heart-earth embrace. Balance yourself out. Put yourself in be. We are beings. The be is the focal point, and the ing is the subconscious trying to make something out of the be. Our job is to be. You put yourself in be and put whoever, whatever in your heart. Practice. Close-eyed and open-eyed. You'll be fine. If you ever want any insight on yourself, asking questions, why is this happening? Why am I manifesting this? This is another place you can chat to. You can chat to your own flame. You have one of these things, you know. Excuse me, Earth. You have one of these, and it's right here. We actually have three of them. We have one here, one in the third eye, and one 4 fingers above our head. Talk to it. This is your Trinity. Don't. This never leaves you. It's always with you. It's your best mate. It's beyond your best mate, but it's a good start. And here's your Earth. The 13th point. There's 12 panels on here. 13th point. It's in the center. Same as you. Well, that's a relaxing live. If you have any questions on this, write it on the comments. I'm refraining from reading the comments at the moment because I'm actually more into this. Any questions, write it on the comments and I'll reply, or Arania will reply. Oh, I don't want to move. Okay, everyone. I think that's pretty good. That's about it, really. It's the heart-earth embrace. Okay? Yeah. Cool. I don't even really want to push the clicker thing. Okay. Well, enjoy your evening. Enjoy your heart earth embrace, and see how you go. You know, with the chatting to the deceased, you're talking to them through a fifth dimensional portal. As soon as you go through here, you're talking to a being through in a fifth dimensional portal. It'll change everything. Okay, you'll start learning to work through your fifth dimensional portal and the expansion through that. See, the flame is the shape of your divine portal. It's like your USB plug to go into your divinity. And the shape of a portal is that, which can actually turn to a triangle. Okay. Well, okay, everyone. Well, have a lovely night's sleep. If you're in New Zealand and you're heading towards bedtime after your cup of tea or whatever. Oh, goodness. I'm out of here. Have a lovely evening and all the best. Yahoo.